Colin was right.
Matt Stafford. I've said before, he was better in high school, college, and first 4 years in the NFL than Aaron Rodgers, and he's better now. He was always the most talented guy in the NFL in a bad spot. He's only 36. He's got 2 to 3 more Super Bowl runs with this young team, in my opinion. He's still a complete workhorse, 5th in pass attempts. If they can protect him for the next 3 years, there's no reason to get another quarterback on his. I mean, how many people could have beaten Josh Allen last night? Mahomes, Stafford, Burrow with a better defense. Like, Stafford's in a completely elite class.
Where Colin...
Yeah, let's talk about that. That game was wild. I mean, Matthew Stafford is unbelievable, and people push back, and it's shocking to me whenever you say that Matthew Stafford is elite. I think people will always forever be confused where to rank Stafford because of all his years in Detroit. And it was just a franchise that was so poorly run, bad coaching, bad everything. People will just want to be like, yeah, but what about, that great wide receiver? And it's like, okay, like there's more to football than just having an all-time great wide receiver. And it's a shame because he went to LA when he was already older and then had some injuries. And so we've never really got to see Matthew Stafford in his prime in a great situation. And that's unfortunate. It is. And so now we get to see moments of greatness like this and see how special he is. But he is older. He is an older quarterback. So it's not going to be the same as if he was 28. I mean, that's just a fact. It is. It's just a fact. And the style of play of Stafford, of what makes Stafford great, you will be reliant on having some great wide receivers. They got to be able to make the plays. They got to be able to make the catches. Stafford will be able to execute that offense flawlessly and will be able to make those throws, but he needs receivers to be able to make those catches. Stafford's not what makes Stafford special and great. He wouldn't thrive with, say, like even the Kansas City Chiefs in that system, doing a lot of these dink and dunks, quick, short, little 2-yard passes, 4-yard passes, 5-yard passes. That's not Matthew Stafford's special. It's just not. And it's not, his ability to overcome a limited O-line or some limited weapons. That's not his brand of special. But you give him wide receivers who can catch the ball. You give him an O-line who can give him time. And you give him an offensive coach, and he's going to torch you. I mean, and that's what I've kept saying for months now, or weeks, I should say, about the Rams. Any game that we were trying to evaluate, whether it was the Rams versus the Eagles, whoever it may be, I was like, you got Stafford, you got Cooper Kupp, you got Puka Nacua, you got Sean McVay. That alone is going to make you one of the deadliest teams out there. Just that alone. Now you add in an O-line that, again, actually does their job, and a defense that can hold their own. And it's like, who is reliably stopping them? Who? There is no one there. We saw them beat the Buffalo Bills, obviously. Now, make no mistake about it, the Rams needed heroics. I mean, they needed Puka Nacua to make some of these just comically absurd catches. I mean, the one where he was able to keep his feet in bounds, I still don't understand. Usually I'm really good at getting that on the first try when I watch it. I'm like, I take pride in it, but I'm like, nah, he didn't have his feet in bounds. No, you only got 1 foot down. Like, I always am like, take pride and be able to get that on like the first read, when watching the game in real time. And I was like, no, he didn't get in. And then he did, and I was just like, oh my God. I don't even know how. I really don't. I was just like, I was stunned. I mean, some of these catches were just unbelievable. And Cooper Kupp, don't forget about him. And just some of these throws. I mean, that was an awesome game. That really, really, I mean, that is the football. That is the brand of football that the NFL desperately wants, like, all the time. They want these 44, 42, just like insane runs, insane catches, just big time moments coming down to the wire, comebacks in the fourth. Like that's what the NFL wants so badly. If you had to show someone what's a really exciting game of the week, right? You're going to pick that game over the Eagles, over the Chiefs, over the Ravens, over the Steelers. It's like that game right here was just box office. It was an awesome game. At the end of the game, I'm like, I don't know who I'm rooting for to win this game, because I'm trying to think, like, who do I think deserves it more, or who, like, needs it more? Because, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. But I'm just kind of like, I want the team that deserves it to win a game like that, because it's just like, to lose a game that you deserve to win, or you played better but it just didn't come out. That's a bummer. And I think this was one of those games where it was like, kind of like, and again, this is kind of kumbaya, but it's just like, this game should have ended in a tie. But the Rams deserved it. The big thing that changed that whole game was the block punt and returning it for a touchdown, right? Like that is the difference of the game. The game is 44-42 and both quarterbacks are absolutely balling out, and offenses are just balling out, and the defenses are struggling to a degree, or just being torched by the offense, however you want to look at it. The difference is then going to be some of these small special teams things, and getting a blocked punt and returning it for a touchdown is no small, special teams. So this game was special. And Matthew Stafford and the Rams showed just how great they can be. And Dan Orlovsky talked about this today, where he was just like, when they're healthy and they're firing at all cylinders, they can win it all. And I think I saw the one quote. I didn't get to watch the clip, but he was just like, if you're a Lions or Eagles fan, you should be scared of this team getting in, this offense getting into, getting into the playoffs. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. I was talking to some other fans who are, Eagles fans, Lions fans, and, in typical fashion, every fan base is always very confident in their own team, right? Lions fans are like, Rams can't beat us, and Eagles fans are like, no one can beat us, and it's like, okay, settle down. And even Rams fans are probably like, we're the best team, you don't want to face us, and it's like, okay. But it is true. Especially if the Rams limp. Let's say the Rams, get into the. I guess they probably. I guess it depends. They could still get it. It was for a while. It was seen that this division, there'll be no wild card team. And I guess depending on how some of these other games unfold, especially for like the Commanders and even I guess the Packers, like they could technically still be a wild card. But if let's say the Rams get in through the 7 seed, like, oh my God. What a disadvantage! I mean, it's just like you'll have to fit the 1 seed and the 2 seed to have to face the Rams. I mean, like that. That's just the worst. That's awful. That's the worst seeding spot for it. So if anything, depending on how that division unfolds, like you better hope that the Rams win the get injured and then. You don't have to like face them yet. You could maybe have to not face them until, say, like an NFC Championship game. Like that would be the best path. But a wild card, the Rams going in via wild card would just be like, I mean, that would be the most disruptive thing ever. Truly, it would be the most. It would be wild. So there's a lot to like about the Rams. I haven't looked at the Rams schedule, so I don't know how many more tough games they have. This was obviously going to be one of the hardest games that they had. And now you're just kind of going toe to toe with the Seahawks. It's really looking at it through the Seahawks, as well as the Commanders, most likely more than anything. Like obviously, there's only so many games left, and so right, we have the Seahawks at 8-5, and so yeah, I mean, obviously the Seahawks, they're gonna be technically in the driver's seat, but it's still there for the taking. Catching the Packers will probably be hard. The Commanders would be the next bet for a wild card spot. But they also should have some easy games, depending on if they can kind of pull out a win against the Eagles. We don't know. They're coming off a bye. They had a lot of momentum. They lost some momentum. They regained it, went into the bye. So it'll be interesting to see what they have. But I'm pretty sure they have a couple easy games ahead of them as well. So you can count on some wins there. The margin of error is small for the Rams, right? That can't be denied, obviously, but it's still definitely there for them. The 49ers game, that'll be huge. And now the 49ers got a big boost playing the Bears. But then you got the Jets, you got the Cardinals, and the Rams, right? Those are going to be the games, especially the Seahawks. I said the Rams, sorry. The Cardinals and the Seahawks. That'll definitely kind of be where this all comes out to it. But I assume if we look at it kind of mathematically and try to do like the real quick math, like it'll probably be make or break versus the 49ers. It feels to me maybe if the 49ers win that game, that might be the nail in the coffin for the Rams in terms of, again, you would have to be really hoping that the Commanders or the Packers just fall and collapse, and I'm just not so sure that's going to happen. They're playing the Cowboys, the Falcons, the Saints. You know, they got their hardest game is obviously against the Eagles. Against the Cowboys, who knows who they're going to even be playing against the Cowboys as the final game of the season. The Falcons, is Kirk Cousins still the quarterback? Or are they now going to try to fool around with Penix? You know, like, so you have to count that they're going to get some wins too. So that's why it really does feel like winning this division. And so it might really come down to that final game, January 5th. The Seahawks will be playing the Vikings. That's a tough game. The Packers, that's a tough game. The Bears, that's a question mark. Are you going to get a good Caleb Williams and a good Bears defense, or is it going to be like what they had against the 49ers? So it's still there. I mean, it really is all there. This is definitely going to be a mad dash, but it does feel like it might be one of those things where it's you either win the division, you're in the playoffs, you lose the division, you're not. So, yeah, the 49ers game will obviously be a huge game, but I guess though that often if they the Seahawks still have a tougher schedule that they could most definitely slip going down. So exciting stuff for the Rams, though. I mean, these Rams games are going to be all hands on deck, can't miss TV. And I feel as though that the Rams, they're going to understand that. And so you're probably going to get a lot of their best shot style games. So, and nothing to lose. So going to be wild. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams? Do you think that he's got multiple Super Bowl runs in him, like Colin is saying? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.